Today we will be learning how to draw and color the Winter Olympic mascots for 2026. The mascots are Milo and Tina, named after the host cities representing the Olympic and Paralympic Games. They embody traits like agility, resilience, and adaptability from the Italian Alps. A stoat is a mammal that's from the weasel family and it's native to the Italian Alps. So, without any more waiting, let's go ahead and get started. For this project, I'm using a pencil and colored pencils and a Sharpie. And I'm on a regular size piece of paper, and I want to draw really, really lightly some very basic shapes. I'm starting with kind of an oval shape for the head, or a circle shape for the head, and an oval shape for the body, kind of like a snowman. Then I can kind of make it a little bit darker as I try to form the body. So I have a rounded head for both of them. And instead of going all the way around on the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and connect it to the body. And the body is more of an oval shape. It's longer. So as I curve it around, I want to make that longer oval shape. So you can see it kind of carves in a little bit at the neck, and then it gets a little bit wider as it goes down and around for the body. So those are the two basic body shapes. And you can see I left a little bit of space between them. Next, I'm adding ears. The ears are just a curve on the top of the head. They're pretty close together, and they're about the same size. You can kind of decide what angle you put them at. I'm going to make these two more at an angle, so it looks like the animal is looking a little bit more to the left. Next, I'm going to do the nose. Those are just kind of floating in the middle, a little bit towards the top part of the head. Then I'm going to make the part that's kind of the top part of the face. It's done by creating a curved line that dips under the nose, and then it comes up pretty high on the cheeks of the animals, and then curves back down on the neck and goes all the way down and around on the belly as well. I'll do the same thing on the other one. So if you start by making a curved line kind of under the nose, and then it dips up on the head and then down around on the body. Same thing on the other side, up and around, and then it curves down on the belly as well. These are the basic shapes. I'm going to add some eyes, 1 and 2. They're really close together right above the nose. I'll add little lines inside of the ears. Remember, if I'm ever going too fast, feel free to pause. I also want to go ahead and add the mouth. So the mouth is just kind of a dip, a U shape right under the nose. And then I'm going to add a tongue in there too, which is a curve inside of the mouth. Do the same thing on the other one. And a curve inside of the tongue, for the tongue as well. All right, the arms will come out of the body, but before I make the arms, I want to make these little scarves so that the arms can go just underneath them. So I'm just kind of adding these lines right around where the neck should be. And then the stoat on the left is going to be Milo, and that's for the Paralympics. And then the one on the right is going to be Tina, and that's for the regular Olympics. And I'm going to add arms on both that are just kind of out because they're expressive and excited. They're, happy to be around. So they just look like two kind of lines coming on either side. And then I'm going to do a tail over here on Milo that kind of curves. And you can decide where your tail goes or what direction it curves. And then he's just got one leg on the side. So I'm going to add a little curved line that meets up with this oval shape for the foot. and then kind of comes back into the body with another curved line. All right, Tina, I'm going to add her legs down on the bottom, so it's kind of a curved line down. I'll add the oval for the foot and then connect the line from the body to the foot. This other one I think I'm going to make kind of going down, pointing down, so the foot's going to be kind of angled down, and then the leg will be kind of over here on the side. And then she needs a tail as well. This is Tina, named after Cortina, up in the Italian Alps. Perfect spot for the Winter Olympics. Next, I'm going to add some curved lines so that I can put some hands on each of the stoats. And I'm going to add little circles that are kind of hovering above that curved line. That's kind of where the palm of the hand would be. And then I can add 4 little fingers that kind of go around that circle, almost like you're making a flower. So it's like the center of a flower and then the petals that go around it. But just 4 petals, 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're very curved. This is a cartoon, so they should look kind of fun and cartoony. I'm just gonna kind of adjust some of my lines. The nice thing about starting with pencil is I can kind of tweak as I need to. I'm gonna add another center here for Milo, and then add the little fingers around it, and we'll do the same thing on this hand as well. All right, I am really liking how these are looking, trying to see if there's any other details I'm missing. So both of them have the Olympic symbols on their stomachs, on their bellies. So Cortina's got the 5 rings on hers, so we'll add that in on her belly. And then Milo needs the Paralympic symbol on his belly. The Paralympic symbol has these 3 kind of curved lines. So one, they almost look like a backwards J. There's the second one, and then there's the third one. So they kind of go in like a little I don't know, wave, I guess you would say. All right. So now that I have them drawn with pencil, I want to use a Sharpie to kind of outline them again, to make sure that I've got all of the spots in the right locations here. I can kind of make adjustments if I need to on some of my lines. And I'm just going to go ahead and use that so I have a nice strong outline for this kind of cartoon inspired design. Now, these mascots were chosen through a public poll after a student design contest. So students designed some variety of mascot ideas, and then they put it out, and the people voted, and these were the ones that won. They are said to reflect the Italian culture, sport, and the spirit of unity and adaptability. Now, Tina, the one on the right here that we're drawing, has a lighter color, and she represents Cortina, and she's adventurous, artistic, she loves city life, she's embodying the dreams and transformation that happened there in that city. And then Milo, the Paralympic mascot on the left, will be a little bit darker, and he's from Milan. He's creative, inventor. He's born without a leg for the Paralympic, of course. And he uses his tail to adapt, symbolizing resilience and innovation. So if you see the little characters walking around, you'll notice that Milo walks on one foot and then on his tail. So he's adaptable and also is just super fun. So I have seen these characters on the news. It's so fun to see them in life, and walking around, and I'm sure we'll see them as we watch the Olympics. All right, so I'm finishing up my Sharpie outline, trying to outline all of the different elements here, and you can decide if you want to outline the bellies or not. I'm going to add a little bit of detail on the tails that I didn't draw with my pencil, but it's basically just a little bit of a zigzag because their tails are a little bit darker. And then there are circles on the bottom of the feet, so I'm going to add some circles there too, which I didn't add with pencil before. And then I can write their names so we know who is who. So Milo is on the left, so that's M-I-L-O. And then Tina is on the right, T-I-N-A. And then I'm going to go ahead and trace the belly designs as well. I can always add colors to those just by putting them next to my Sharpie lines. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up with my Sharpie, and then what you'll want to do is maybe take an eraser and erase some of your pencil lines if you can still see them. And I still have some pencil lines showing through, so I'm going to go ahead and just erase all of the rest of my pencil lines so that I just have the nice strong Sharpie line. And then you can decide what you'll use to color. So I have some colored pencils, and I'm going to go ahead and use those to color my two Olympic mascots here. Milo, again, is a darker color, so he's brown. And you can color his fur brown. The bottom of his face and his stomach are still white. And then, but the rest of his body is brown. So you can look at mine if you need to see kind of what color to do him in. And then Cortina or Tina is a lot lighter, and that's a little bit trickier because I don't want to just leave her white. I do want to have a little bit of color on her. So you may have to really press lightly when you get to Cortina and not push quite as hard with the colors that you use. And you can decide kind of what colors you want her to be. I recommend maybe doing like a peach color, a gray, a blue, or a mixture of the three. I think I'm going to try maybe a mixture of the three. So I'm going to start off with peach, or kind of like an apricot color, and I'm pushing really, really lightly so you can hardly even see it. And I'm just going around the outside of her, just like I did with Milo, and leaving the belly completely white and the hands completely white as well. And then later on, I can add maybe a little bit of shading with this, with her, with a little bit of blue, a little bit of gray, just to try to give her a tiny bit of color, but not so much that it's super dark. So she is a lighter color. I'm guessing that the lighter color helps her camouflage in winter, right? So if you're a white animal in winter, it's harder for your predators to find you. So again, that adaptability is pretty cool. All right, the inside of the mouth, I am making red on both. And I will also color a little bit more lightly with red on the nose, so it's not quite as bright as the mouth. And then the tongue will be pink, and the inside of the ears will also be pink, and like the little circles on the hands are pink as well. So you can make those different things pink on yours too if you would like. Now the bottom of their tails are a little bit darker actually, so I found kind of this reddish brown, or you could just use a darker brown for Milo's tail, trying to push a little bit harder. And then Tina's tail is a grayish color, so I just found a gray. And then since I have this gray on the tail, I can also again push really lightly on the body to make it a little bit darker than the white. So by mixing a little bit of gray in with my other colors too. She's a tiny bit darker on the outside. The other thing to color would be their little scarves here. So Mila's scarf is green. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. And then Tina's scarf is kind of like a purplish blue. So I'm going to start with purple, and then I will add a little bit of blue into it as well. And then you'll notice that I added these little rectangles on their scarf. That's the Italian flag. And the Italian flag is green on the left, and then white in the middle and red on the right. So if you added those in, you can throw a tiny Italian flag on there as well, since the Olympics take place in Italy. All right, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed doing this with me today. I thought it was super fun. And yeah, have fun watching the Olympics and cheering them on, and see if you can spot the mascots as you watch. Thanks so much for joining me today, and visit Ehlke Art again soon. Bye now.